Hi, I'm Fraser Allen of ICLG.com. Today I'm with Karine Desplanches, who is Managing Director UK at Acolad Legal, which specialises in legal and financial translation services, including sworn translation, interpretation and transcriptions. Great to be talking with you today, Karine.
Same. Thank you, Fraser, for having me today. Hi.
Hi. We're going to be talking about the aspects of how client translation services are a key part of many cross-border class actions disputes and how technology is driving that change. So my first question to you today, Karine, is how do you see lawyers and parties making the best use of service providers such as translation services?
Interesting question. Thank you for asking, Fraser. I think the best way for lawyers to make, best use of translation services would be to consider these providers as long-term partner. It's not just a one-off. It's a long-term partner. When we do work with a client on a specific case on a long-term basis for 18 months or 2 years, for example, we can allocate a dedicated team of translators to this case, meaning that the same translator will be translating the documents weeks after weeks, months after months,
Yes.
Making sure that they understand much better the case. After a few documents they have translated, they can be quicker and they can know better the case and make sure that it's more accurate when they translate.
Indeed.
It's going to make sure also, using the same translator, that we ensure harmonization and consistency throughout the translation. Mm-hmm. Also, using the same provider, we're going to be able to use existing translation to translate new documents using what we call translation memories. It's like a bank where you put all the translation of a dedicated client, making sure that when we have a new document to translate, if there's any part which has already been translated, we're not going to translate it again. We are going to use it, which is going to lower the fees of the translation cost, obviously, and it's going to make the process much quicker. Mm-hmm. So it's to the benefit of the client to use the same provider for the same case. Dedicated team of translator, translation memories, and also making sure that the translator knows what they talk about, and we receive a brief at the beginning of the case to have the context to make sure we go straight to the point and we know exactly what the client is trying to, want us to reveal in these documents. Also, second one will be making sure that you communicate your needs to the provider. What is the purpose of the translation? What do you need it for? And what is your client's budget? These three factors are extremely important. Why? Why do we need to know the purpose of the translation? At Acolad, we have a bespoke offer. We need to know, is it for internal use? Is it to share with the clients? And then we offer a bespoke proposal. We send a bespoke offer to our client to make sure that they can choose the option depending on their needs and their budget they have. Also, we offer different turnaround time. Is it for tonight? Is it for tomorrow? Is it for next week? What is the urgency of the transition? And also the client's budget, obviously. Everything is about budget. Everything is about costs. We totally understand that, the cost needs to be as low as possible. It's always difficult to go too low, obviously, because you want quality, but we always make sure that we meet our clients' budgets. So sharing the budget can be really helpful to make sure we're going to send the bespoke offer to our clients to go ahead. So in a nutshell, we need, I think, for the client to make sure that they use as well as possible the translation providers, to use them as partners, be transparent, communicate, and work on the long term.
Very interesting, especially in terms of the technological tools that you're using there to bring costs down.
Very interesting,
Moving on from that, Karine, obviously one of the things that has emerged in the class actions global scene in recent years has been that the rise in cross-border class actions cases. What type of challenges and what kind of new challenges are there for translation service providers such as Acolad?
I think the rise of cross-border class actions will highlight the needs for high-quality translation services for sure in the future. There will be more and more multilingual documents involved. In multilingual cases, it's important to ensure that translation are accurate, have been performed by legal translator experts. That's extremely important. At Acolad, as you said at the beginning, I'm from Acolad Legal. All our translators are specialized in legal. They have a legal background. Some of them may be ex-lawyers, ex-barristers. It's important we use people with extensive training and who completely understand the legal industry and the legal concept and terms to make sure for each word we pick the correct translation.
Indeed. Now, moving on from the cross-border aspect, obviously one of the major events of recent years that has affected everyone around the world has been the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, remote hearings, remote communications, it's gone from being something that people used when they had to something that everybody's doing every day. And obviously, that has greatly affected the work that companies like yourself are doing. Can you go into a bit more of the detail there and tell us exactly how the remote hearings and the rise in remote communications has affected what you're doing?
Absolutely, Fraser. Yeah, I think remote hearings have led to an increase of demand of remote interpreting services as well. You know that when it comes to hearing, you may have different parts in the world involved in that hearing. So everyone might not be speaking English if the hearing takes place in the UK, for example. So it involves having several interpreters connected to a platform, to a virtual hearing, and each of them translating either consecutively or simultaneously for the different parties. Can be the judge or the witness or the attendees or the lawyers. We never know. At Acolad, we offer several solutions that can be tailored to our clients' needs. We offer technical support as well, and to make sure that everything runs smoothly on the day of the hearing.
Thank you very much. Now, one final question for you, Karine, and that is, of course, looking to the future. We've seen a lot of change in recent years, some of which you've already developed. What do you think's on the horizon? What do you think are the next big developments for translation services in lawsuits?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Fraser. Machine translation has been a huge development in the recent years, and it continues to evolve. It's especially relevant for the legal sector, in fact, as it can help translate large amounts of material very quickly, especially at the discovery stage of a case. At Acolad, our machine translation are trained with legal content, and they're trained again regularly to have the best possible quality, so the quality will continue to increase as time goes on.
Indeed.
Our research and development team at Acolad is dedicated to consistently build and improve our translation technology. And I'm sure there are lots of exciting things to come in the future, Fraser, in terms of technology.
I'm sure it is. Certainly a lot of the new technological developments that we see in other sectors certainly seem to mirror what's happening in translation as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for joining us today, Karine. It's been a fascinating insight into this very fast-changing part of the class action scene. And I look forward to seeing yourself and your colleagues at our Global Class Actions Symposium next week on November 16th and 17th.
We'll be there, Fraser. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having Acolad on stage. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.